Hello everyone, and welcome to today's video where I am going to draw iconic characters in my style. So we're going to start off today with strawberry shortcake, and I'm going ahead and trying to keep the original elements of the design, but I want to make it look completely different and unique and in my style. So I'm starting off by drawing out the face, and as you can tell, today I'm in Procreate because I thought this would be much easier to do this way than traditionally. That way I could kind of correct things a lot easier. It's much easier to erase digitally than traditionally. So I'm starting off by working on the face and trying to think of the expression that I want her to have, and I'm feeling very inspired by my inspiration picture on the right. She's got kind of a little smile and she's looking off to the side, so I feel like I would stick with that. And then it looks like she's got little bangs, but that haircut really isn't doing it for me, so I decided to give her a little bob instead. I feel like that would stick with the theme but be a little more cutesy. And I also decided to change up her hat. I feel like it would be a little more modern to give her a bucket hat, and now it's time to shrink the head and start working on the clothing and the body. So I decided that I wanted to keep with her striped theme, but I'm not in love with the striped shirt, so instead I decided to make puffy sleeves on her shirt and then add stripes to those to keep along with the theme and to make it strawberry shortcake looking, but to also make it a little more in my style. And then it was time to add little strawberries all over the hat, which I think was so cute. And now it's time to go over it again and make it all a little bit neater this time. So I'm just going over everything that I did and making sure that it all looks okay and just trying to finalize the sketch a little bit more, because right now it's pretty messy and all pretty much still just a concept. So now it's time to actually bring it to life and make sure everything's just a little bit neater, so that way I can really feel if my design's going to work or not, and I can see what all needs correction, what needs to be added, taken away, all of those good things. So this was a really fun step. Now it's time to flip the canvas and see how bad things are. I fixed a couple things, and now I'm going over with the final outline. So I basically drew this thing out like 3 times, and I ended up doing that for every single one of these characters to really make sure I had the design how I wanted it to be, and that way it looked kind of perfect. Not really perfect, but just better than how it started. And then I rearranged things a couple more times, and then this sketch was completed. So now it's time to move on to the next character, which is Bloom from the Winx Club. So I feel like she would be a really fun iconic character to draw too, and she definitely was. I tried to give her some pixie shaped eyes, if that makes any sense at all. And then I went ahead and started out just sketching everything out like before, and I definitely wanted to take inspiration from her outfit and definitely from her hair. I thought it would be cute to give her some curtain bangs and to make her hair super long, just like in this reference picture. So that's what I started out by doing, and then it's time to shrink the head again so we can start working on the body. I have to be honest, I'm not a huge fan of her outfit over here, but I do want to draw inspiration from it, so I kept with the same shirt design, but I decided to give her an attached skirt instead. It kind of looks like a dress by the end of it because I decided to cross her arms in front of her and give her some books as well to kind of add to her character and personality. And then after that, it was time to go in and outline everything. This is my second go through again, where I just tighten everything up and make sure that the character looks good and kind of makes sense. So after I outlined the entire thing, it was time again to flip the canvas around. And the reason that I flipped the canvas is because you can see a lot more of your mistakes and what needs to be corrected once you flip the canvas. It just gives you a different perspective. I could see that her left eye was too high and angled differently. I moved the eyebrow down, and I changed up some of her outfit as well, and it just helps you to see things differently. It's super weird, I don't know why, but it's a super helpful tip. So always flip your canvas if you can, and if you're doing traditional, you can take a picture and then flip your picture. That also helps a lot as well. But now it's time for my final outline, where I really go in, take my time, and make sure everything is nice and neat. That way it's ready to be colored in, and then this character was also complete after I added in those finishing details. So now it is time for the final character that I'm going to redesign, which is Barbie from the Princess and the Pauper movie. So obviously there are 2 of them here, the princess and the pauper, but I want to combine them into one single character, especially since in the movie their only defining separating features are their hair color, and otherwise they're supposed to be identical. So I really wanted to focus on that and make them look super similar by combining their outfit designs and keeping similar things that they have, like their necklace. So I thought that this would be super fun to try and create my own character, which merges the two of them completely together. So this was super fun and very challenging because I was taking two different characters and making them into my own style, not just one, but it was also super fun. And spoiler alert, this one definitely turns out to be my favorite redesign. I just think it's so cute, and I'm also partial to the Barbie movies, so there's that as well. But then after I sketched everything out, it was time to go in with my rough outline and try to get everything a little bit neater. That way, again, I could see the character as a whole and kind of get a visual representation of what this sketch was going to look like once it was finally completed. So I even included all of the detailing, like the special scalloping on the dress, and then after that, it was time to flip the canvas and see what needed to be fixed. I was pretty happy with the design. I just touched up a few things, and now it's time for my final character outline design that really completes the whole thing and sets it apart. There were a couple things I left out here, but I went back and touched it up later. For example, I forgot the laces on the corset on her shirt, but I went back in later, so don't worry, it's there. I corrected it. But anyway, here she is, and she is finally completed, so now it's time to color. But before I do that, if you guys want to color along with me, you can by going to my website anchordartdesigns.com, clicking on the coloring pages tab, and then you can click whichever character you want to color into, and then you can check out with that character. All I need is your email and your first and last name, and then it's yours to download. Then you can print it out, or if you want to download it straight to your iPad, you can, and then you can export it straight to Procreate by clicking that little button in the top right corner and clicking on Procreate. It will send it straight over there, and then when you open up your app, it will be there for you waiting, and you can color it straight in with the outlining still there. So happy coloring. And now it's time for me to color these in. So here they are, and I'm going to start in the order that I designed them in. So we're starting off first with strawberry shortcake. I am going to be using both sets of my Ohuhu markers to color these in. So these are all of the colors that I'm going to be working with. And first I'm starting off with strawberry shortcake skin color. So I'm just coloring in a solid base there and then letting that dry before I go in with some blush colors and really warm everything up. And for her eyes, I'm keeping with her classic eye color, which is brown. And for her hair, I'm deciding to make it bright red. I feel like that would be super fitting since it is strawberry shortcake, and I want to keep her recognizable. And then I decided to make the shirt stripes red and white, just like in her original picture, but this time just on the puff sleeves. And I also made her main shirt color red as well, to keep again with the theme of strawberry shortcake. I decided to add in a couple of shadows and shading to the coloring to make it a little more in my style. And then it was time to work on the bucket hat, which I wanted to make pink and then add in strawberry little detailing as well. I went with this bright hot pink for the strawberries and added in cute little green stems, and I also made her shorts green as well, which was kind of a bold choice, but I just felt like she needed more color. And then after that, I also decided to make her lips colorful and give her a little bit of green makeup. I added in a little bit of orange to the hair to warm it up and to her shirt, but then I felt like it was too much on the shirt, so I recolored it in red. And then after that, I wanted to add in a little bit of a background, so I made this pink little blob and then outlined it with a lighter pink that was on the hat. And after that, it was time to add a little more detail to the shorts, and now it's finally time to add in those finer details. So I'm bringing in my white gel pen and just adding in some highlights all over her face and a little bit on her clothes, and even adding dots onto the strawberries. I want this to be pretty detailed. And then after that, I wanted to add sparkles to the background. That's just more my style. Adds a little more magic to the drawing. And here she is completed. I think it's so cute, and I love the explosion of color on this one. But now let's move on to Bloom from the Winx Club. So again, I'm starting off by coloring in a solid base of skin tone for her and letting that dry before I add in details. That way nothing blends and bleeds. And I'm sticking along with her colors from her outfits as well. So I'm going in with this turquoise color and layering it with a a blue to make it a little more blue and less green, and I put that same color all over the skirt and also layered it with blue as well. After that, it was time to color in these little outlines she has around her shirt, so I went ahead and added in some darker colors to make it a little more separate from her shirt. And then she's got these bright yellow color block sleeves that I love, so I added those in as well. I went with orange for the hair. She definitely has orange hair, and I was going to add in some red to it, but I felt like that would look too much like Strawberry Shortcake, and I really wanted to separate all of these characters, so instead I shaded the hair with a darker, deeper terracotta orange, and I felt like that fit the character a lot better. So after that, it was time to add some warmth to the skin, give her some blush and some shading, make her look a little more alive. I gave her some yellow makeup for fun, and then I decided to add in some freckles. I just felt like that'd be super cute and add in even more detail. And now it's time for my special gel pen moment. So for this one, I added in white as well. I decided to make sparkles all over her dress, which looks so cool and turned out looking like sparkles. And I also decided to add to the skirt as well. If you remember, her original design has stars on her jeans, so I wanted to add in some stars to her skirt as well. I feel like that would just be super cute and a little nod to the original character. So that's what I'm doing here, and then I added in some shading under her arms to give it a little more dimension and depth. And then after that, it was finally time to add in a little special touch of gel pen. She's obviously a fairy, so I wanted to add in some little wing outlines to the background. I feel like that would just be super cute and fun, so I used this gold to do it and added in some special sparkles and stars around the design as well, just to make it really fun. And here's how it turned out, and I love the extra gel pen details, and I think this character design is really fun and really cool. So now let's move on to the last coloring page of the day, which is from Barbie Princess and the Pauper. So I started off this time by coloring in her shirt. I went with pink, and obviously the two main colors I'm going to use for her outfits are pink and blue, since that's what separated the two initial characters that we designed this from. So that's what I'm going ahead and doing, adding in some blush onto the character and adding in some shading as well. But now it's time to go ahead and kind of just add in all of the things that make them separate and make them unique to one another. So to do that, I'm starting off by adding in some of the princess's design elements, which are this fun little quilted fabric pattern that I did here by adding in a little bit of a darker pink. Here is me fixing the corset design, but don't worry, it's in the coloring page if you download it. And then after that, I'm adding in the blue to complement the pink, and that's going to be the main shirt design color. I also added in blue and pink by alternating the flower headband color in the hair, and now this is my favorite part of this entire design. I'm coloring this side of the hair in brown, but then I'm going to color in the left side of the hair blonde, since that is the only thing that you can tell separate from one another in the movie. I feel like it'd be so cool to do a half and half hair color for this design, so that's what I'm going ahead and doing, adding in blonde on the left side and brown on the right side, and it turned out so cool. I wanted to make their eye colors different too, but that's not true to the movie, so I didn't do that. But now I'm going ahead and adding in all of the gold elements everywhere, to the heart necklace, to the scalloping, adding little buttons on the quilted design. It's just looking really cool, and I'm in love and obsessed with this. Colored in her lip color, and then I decided to add in a little more detail to the brown side of the hair, since the blonde was so detailed. And then after that, I added in my highlights to the face to really brighten up some areas and to really make it pop, and again put it in my style a little more. I loved the sparkles on Bloom, so I added them in here on her shirt as well. I just felt like it would be a really good design touch. And then for the background, since the roses are very important in the movie, I decided to add a pink rose on the right and a blue rose on the left, and then added in alternating sparkles as well on both sides of the design, just to add in a little touch of a background. And here is how this turned out. I think it is so cool, and I love the touch of gold gel pen and how it shines. Here's another look at our bright and fun character, Strawberry Shortcake, the first design that I made. Here's another look at Bloom and her fun fairy wings in the background. And finally, here is the Princess and the Pauper design that we made, and I loved combining the two. Let me know which one of these designs turned out to be your favorite, and if you colored along, let me know and tag me on Instagram at anchored.designs. I'd love to see it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Also, does does anybody else just leave their Ohuhu markers everywhere until they're done creating? Let me know.